Bowl season is in full swing, and we got a great one. Outside of the New Year's Six, outside of the college football playoff, there's some really exciting matchups. This might be my favorite one. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Friday, December 30th, 3:30 Eastern. You got Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You got South Carolina, two programs that were interesting to talk about, interesting to watch throughout the duration of the season. For South Carolina, it looked like after the first few games, it was, 2021 was a nice story for Shane Beamer. Great for social media to talk about, the dancing before SEC Media Day and all the sound bites. Like, it's a fun story, but what happens on the field? Well, all they did at the end of the year was spoil the college football playoff hopes of both Clemson and Tennessee. And for them in this game, the conversation around the program has been a little bit more of a question mark. Have guys opt out? Have guys transfer out? All that. This game, I firmly believe for them, is going to be an effort to make a statement to the culture and to what's being built in-house at South Carolina. A lot of times in these bowl games, you get questions around, well, how much do they really care about it? How much do they care about winning the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl? I promise you, with Shane Beamer running the show, everybody that's in uniform, everybody that's going to be taking the field for the Gamecocks, they care a whole lot. On the other side of things, for Notre Dame, remember how much people sold Notre Dame down the river after the loss to Marshall? Hey, the Marcus Freeman experiment just didn't work, I guess, right? Hey, it's all right. He wasn't supposed to be a head coach, got too much responsibility too early in his career. Well, Notre Dame, after that game, just continued to do more with less and silence a lot of the naysayers. Because Tyler Buckner was their starting quarterback against Ohio State. He got hurt pretty quickly, and they played the duration of the year with Drew Pine. So when I say do more with less, I just mean you didn't have your starting quarterback the entirety of the year. I think that means something. So in this game, I think they're going to want to try and make a point to the rest of the college football landscape that Notre Dame's not going anywhere. Yeah, Brian Kelly isn't our head coach anymore, but Marcus Freeman, he's building a program, he's recruiting hard, and the Fighting Irish are going to be a force to be reckoned with well past this game. But in this game, they're looking to make a statement. So, our hinge points in this game. You know how we do it. If you're new to the program, welcome. We'd love to have you subscribe and love to have you at the party. The way that we break these games down is based on hinge points, meaning there's different variables throughout these games, and whichever way they swing, that favors that team in the outcome of this game. So the first hinge point we're looking at, is Notre Dame's run game the knockout, or is it just a jab? Because when you look at what Notre Dame does as a team, they run the football on average 41 times a contest. That's a lot. That's around 60% of the time. So they make no negotiations. They're going to run downhill at you. They're going to give you a heavy dose of the run game. They're going to let their big human beings move you against your will and have that be the way the football game goes, an attitude thing. South Carolina is averaging around 5 yards a carry given up a game and allowing 200 yards on the ground a game. Translation, it's not good. And so you're looking at the stat and just saying, okay, advantage Notre Dame. I mean, give me Notre Dame -2. That's the line right there. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Free money. Well, for these last two games that South Carolina won in pretty dramatic fashion, might I add, dramatic in terms of a double-digit underdog victory against Clemson and against Tennessee, they didn't stop the run in those games either. Allowed 237 yards on the ground against Clemson. Allowed over 150 yards on the ground against Tennessee. It's hard to win football games when you allow that much on the ground. It's a tough recipe for success. So what I'm looking at in this game, is that what ends up being the kiss of death for South Carolina, or are they able to offset it like they did in those games against Clemson and against Tennessee? Against Clemson, yeah, they gave up 237 yards on the ground. Well, the offense had 415 yards total, and they only allowed 99 yards through the air to the defense. Okay, so you were able to offset it with offensive production and able to limit it through the air. I'm good with that. Against Tennessee, the offense scored 63. I don't care how many yards you're running for against my defense. If my offense scores 63 points, we're going to be okay. So is it a thing where Notre Dame just gets whatever they want on the ground and there's no offsetting factor? That would be the knockout. Or can South Carolina stick to the script they have in these last couple of games, find a way to win, and make it more of a jab? Doesn't feel good to get hit, but a jab is much more favorable than a knockout for South Carolina. So keep an eye on how that whole thing plays out. If you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you at the party. Transfer portal, turning up the heat. Bowl game season, we got you covered. Recruiting, it's a year-round thing. We cover college football 12 months out of the year. This is your spot. We don't take breaks, all right? Also, follow me on the socials at JD Piquel on Twitter and on Instagram. Second hinge point for me. Can Spencer Rattler be the catalyst? Think back to SEC Media Day. Shane Beamer took the podium and was very, very clear in how he said this. He's like, Spencer Rattler does not need to be Superman for us to win football games. I firmly believe that was the plan on that day. I don't think he was fibbing at all when he said that. However, one thing has led to another, and you look at those 2 top 10 wins that South Carolina got, and they asked Spencer Rattler to be Superman. I mean, he threw for 438 yards and 6 touchdowns against Tennessee. Just road to glory kind of numbers when you turn on the video game. 25 for 39, 360 yards, 3 total touchdowns against Clemson. Dude was cooking, right? Like, he was the reason why they won those football games. Now, to make matters even more impactful for Spencer Rattler, they will not have Jaheim Bell, who did a lot of damage in both those games, and they will not have Marshawn Lloyd. Both those dudes said, we appreciate you, we're hitting the portal. There's not going to be a whole lot of help here for Spencer Rattler. The connection to watch in this game, I think, similar to those games, him and Juice Wells had huge days. I mean, over 100 yards against Tennessee and Clemson, I believe. He's going to have to be the guy for Spencer Rattler because there's not going to be a lot of other weapons available to them. Spencer Rattler came to South Carolina with a lot of criticism. I think he's done well, especially in these last couple of games, to turn the volume down just a little bit. But if you can go out and have another game like you did against Tennessee, which is asking a lot, but 400-plus yards, a lot of touchdowns, it may take that kind of effort. The offense will go as Spencer Rattler goes, especially with the personnel that they won't have in this football game. Would be phenomenal to see Spencer Rattler, if he chooses to go to the NFL after this, have a walk-off kind of game against Notre Dame and a very visible program and 2 ranked teams and the tax layer gatorable. Like, I would love that for Spencer Rattler, but I think that's how it would have to go for South Carolina to win this football game. Because if not, if he's not able to get cooking, I don't know where else you're getting that production from. We've already seen for Notre Dame. They're going to run the football. According to what South Carolina does defensively, they're going to run the football pretty effectively. If you can't offset it like we talked about with Spencer Rattler and the offense, it could be a long day at the office. So a lot rides on his shoulders. Can Spencer Rattler be the catalyst for South Carolina? Here's the last thing I'm looking at. Who can get comfortable first? In the day and age of the transfer portal, in the day and age of bowl opt-outs, we're looking at 2 teams here that look very, very different than they did when they ended the regular season. Different personnel. I mean, look at Notre Dame. New quarterback. No more Drew Pine. I say new quarterback. The quarterback they started the year with, and Tyler Buckner, who's now going to start into this game, but he hasn't played football in however many weeks. No more Mayer for Notre Dame. Their go-to tight end, their all-everything guy who the offense made a point to feed the football to consistently. He's not playing in this game. He's opted out. South Carolina, completely new backfield. No Marshawn Lloyd, no Jaheim Bell. Pretty much have 1 tight end you can play in this game. Not going to see a whole lot of 2 tight end sets from South Carolina. Shane Beamer's pretty much said that. So to me, I'm looking at both these teams as moving into a new room. And you and I both know, whenever you move into a new setting, into a new house, a new room, a new apartment, doesn't matter what it is, whenever you move somewhere and the surroundings are different and everything is different around you, it takes a second to get comfortable and to feel like yourself and to figure out how to be productive consistently, right? Because everything's new, a little bit of a shock. For both these teams, I think that's the reality, a whole lot of new. Who figures out how to be comfortable first? I think it's a little bit simplistic to say, but I truly believe that's going to be a very big factor in this game with so many opt-outs and so many guys hitting the portal. It's just kind of the nature of college football right now. But whoever can adapt to that new surroundings, those new personnel groupings, I think it'll serve them really well. So to break it all down, prediction in this game. South Carolina's culture, to me, is something you just can't really quantify. You can't really put a number to it. There's nothing on tape you can look at and say, yes, this is South Carolina culture. It's just something that you know when you see, and it is on fire right now in Columbia. I think Tyler Buckner as the quarterback for Notre Dame scares you a little bit. He's a really good athlete. Look at the tape against Ohio State. Look at his high school tape. The dude can shake, cook, and make your life tough as a defensive front seven if you don't read your keys appropriately. Like, he will make you pay if you're out of position. He's that athletic. He's that good. So with that being said, I have doubted Spencer Rattler my fair share of times, and guess what? I've been wrong my fair share of times. I think he's playing as well as anybody in the country these last 2 games, and I'm going to ride with the hot hand in South Carolina, and I think they end up winning this football game. I think it is back and forth. I think you see 2 teams that care about winning this football game. It's not going to be a matter of one team shows up, one doesn't. You see 2 competitive, well-coached football teams that are trending upward and a really, really high entertainment value kind of game. But at the end of the day, I got South Carolina winning this one 29-27 in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Should be a whole lot of fun. This has been the Hard Count. We appreciate you locking in with us. Please, don't miss the boat. Don't miss the party. Once you're subscribed, we got you covered 12 months out of the year. Jack Terry, lifting heavy. This is your show. Everything you know and that you love about college football, from transfer portal to recruiting to bowl season to anything else that has to do with this beautiful sport. We got you, all right? So lock in with us. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.